Hey everybody, Kendra here. So I wanted to talk about now part two of doing the genogram. I have it over here and I made it pretty big, right? Because it was for a class project, but I've done a bunch of genograms because I went on my own healing journey of wanting to understand my family. So it's important when we're doing genograms to not only focus on what we can heal and maybe what we're lacking or longing as far as our ancestors, right? Like, man, there's something there that needs a little healing. There's a wound there, but also the things that we want to keep, the things we want to cultivate, the things we want to curate, the things we want to feed into. That's really important too. And so, what you'll need is a few pieces of paper, and I could never just do this on one small piece of paper. I had to have like a bunch of pieces of paper. And that's also why I have this poster board, which I'm about to show you. And it's really important to create a legend. So you can create your own. And there's genograms online if you wanted to look at it. But anyway, so let's see what I've got here. I have this huge legend right here, genogram symbol key. And generally, this is how it goes, right? So a male is going to be square, a female will be circled. The people in your genogram that are dead, you'll have as X in them. And then I added, okay, so the whole point of this is to see like patterns, right? So I've added other things that I've noticed. So a psychological disorder, I made a symbol for that. Alcohol substance dependence, I added a symbol for that. Murdered, miscare. Oh, my caregiver. So that's really important, especially if you're going to do like inner child work and things like that, and to know how they have affected your attachment patterns as well. So, doing attachment work for the past. So, that's really important to know who are these caregivers. And then when we have the symbols next to them, knowing, oh, okay, I see these patterns, right? Okay, so here we go. This is induced abortion, abused emotionally and mentally, pregnant, had a baby from 15 to 17 years old, miscarriages slash stillbirth, child was killed, pregnant, had a baby at 18 plus years old, my connection to molestation. Okay. And then up here, again, these are more of the normal type of things you'll see. Okay. I'm just going to go down the line because it's a little easier for me. We have marriage. So, marriage, you'll see a straight bar. That's in most of the genograms. Okay. Divorce, you'll see a bar, but it'll have two dashes on it. All right. Remarriage is you'll have the bar with the dashes, but then you'll see like a man, woman here, man, woman here, same sex. You would just do the, circle, circle, whatever. Right. Living together, but not married. Okay. That's quite important for my family. And so I have a dotted line. That's something I made up. We have conflicted marriage. Okay. So I put a red, and I did color code this as well. So conflicted, so the real red thing right there. And then we have close bond. I had two lines right there. Right. Okay. Now let's come over here. Sorry. Distant. So this means they're married, right? But there's confliction in the marriage. There's closeness in the marriage. Over here, there's a distant marriage. So that's a little different than always being conflicted. Let's say there's always conflict in a marriage, right? They're yelling, they're screaming, they're fighting, they're putting each other down. There's abuse, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial, whatever. But then there's distance. So let's say one person lives here in Odessa and the other person lives in Pecos. Just an example. And they're married and they visit each other, but they're distant. They don't sleep in the same beds. I'm not saying that that means you're distant. I'm saying it's just there's no intimacy in their life, is what I'm saying. They're just really good roommates, or they just got used to each other and they've stayed together. Okay. All right. Moving on. Sexual abuse. Okay. I put my own little symbol. Physical abuse, conflictually enmeshed, biological children. So any children are gonna have these people are gonna be married, right? And there's gonna be a little line, and then there's gonna be, whether it's a boy or girl, biological boy or girl. Okay, so we really want to be on here. There's in a great way, right? I love it that there are people transitioning and being able to get out there and be themselves, that kind of thing. That needs to be put in here too, right? So let's say my aunt was a biological female, but then she transitioned into a male, right? So that needs to be on here too. Or let's say my aunt was a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. Those things need to be on there too, like be very specific, right? And then let's say they were this, they are LGBTQIA plus, but they hid it, right? Put that in there too, like hid, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we just want to make sure that the patterning is there. We want to make sure that we see this. We can trace it. And you may not know this with everyone, because as with a genogram, which I didn't say, when you're making this, it needs to go at least 3 generations back. And if you can do 4, do 4. So like it would be my mom and dad, and then my grandma and grandpa, and then my great grandparents. Okay. And on both sides of the family. All right. My biological mom and my biological dad. All right. So we're really looking at biology. So people who have a blood connection to you. You're also obviously putting your stepdad, stepmom, stepparents, or any caregiver that you have that isn't blood related, right? You do want to find a way to put that on here, but you also don't want to have it like crazy. Like here's their friends and here's like, our next door neighbor and things like that. You don't want to do that. All right. So here are some more symbols I have right here. Socially acceptable addictions. So cigarettes, caffeine, shopping, eating. Look up other socially acceptable addictions. Adulterer, relationship with someone in relationship. Abuser, emotionally, mentally, or physically. Robbed, kidnapped, or beaten. Did not finish high school. Did get certification in something, so like a technical training or something like that. Did not finish high school. College degree, finished high school, went to technical school, got an alternative certification. Left at foster care, abandoned. All relationships are chaotic. Incestuous sexual abuser. All right. So it's a pretty long video already. I'll make another one and talk about how that all kind of comes together. If you have any questions, you can always get in contact with me. My information to my website is below. And again, I am making videos on how to master your own wellness in your life. And those will be for purchase on my website soon. All right. Bye.